Now we're switching to an iPhone 6 for this video because this video is going to be a longer one because matey. Oh, big thickum chunkum thickum. Big thickum chunkum iPad. This iPad is absolutely cacked and we gotta figure out how to get it open. So I've taped all of the glass down so that we don't have thickum iPad glass everywhere. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit. We're gonna be going in with razor blades. We're gonna be doing all sorts of funny stuff with this iPad doodle right here because basically what we have to do is so unbelievable. This display is adhered down with some of the strongest adhesive on the planet. And we have to take our razor blade and go edge to edge getting all this adhesive off before we can do anything. That's why this video is recorded in 1080p because I don't have enough storage in my recording phones to do 4K because every 6 months I have to switch phones. Okay, well that was a failure. Oof. Let's try this again, shall we? Holy whoo, boy, oh my fucking god. Need a charge, we need a charge. Stupid iPhone 6. I hate iPhone 6s. Worst iPhone Apple ever made. Ow, god. This iPad's putting up a fight. I'm gonna have to vacuum this entire table after this. Okay, well that's great. That's just great. I'm just emptying out all the stray glass. We can get back to work. You know, I think we might have to bust out the big guns. Hold up. Got the big guns. It's ConAir. He's coming in for the big plays. The big plays. Oh, interesting. All fucks have exited the building. Well, mate. She cooked. This thing is cooked. Outside to do the batteries because I can't have any of this blowing up. So we're gonna go outside to do the batteries now. Battery time! Alright, we're gonna go as long as the 6 wants to with this, so aside for funsies. The cold helps to release the adhesive. Rip, release, and get that out of there fast. Alright, next one. So interesting thing about the iPad 2nd gen is that, so you got this nice little shiny Apple logo right here, right? And all the battery cells are lined up there. There is so much empty space in this iPad. Considering the fact that they have these in-grooves here for like the speaker system, that's all great, but all along up in here and here, there is literally nothing. Like this whole piece of aluminum is actually quite great when you think about it. It's really solid. Everything's on tack. The motherboard just sits right here, and it really looks like the same motherboard that's in an iPhone, just it's more spaced out for that 16GB chip and for extra power and systems. The speakers in this iPad are awful. That's the weird thing. Like, it says the speakers are better by having that grill here, but it's actually quite awful, and they carried out this design for the iPad 3, the 4th gen, and then that was it, and then they switched to a more compact design that made better use of space. Now, the reason why they did this in the iPad is because Steve Jobs was very fond of having everything be the same size bezel all the way around. Now, that doesn't really work on an iPhone, but his iPad was his passion project. This would be the last iPad he would ever use, which would be the 3rd gen iPad. What Steve Jobs had when he died, he had a 3rd gen iPad. He had an he would have a 3rd gen iPad, and then he would have an iPhone 4S, and then he would have a MacBook Air 2011. That was his last thing, and then he had a 27-inch 2009 iMac. But that was it, and the funny thing about this iPad is when the iPhone 4 was released in 2010, you see that right there? You see that A5 chip? Oh yeah, that's right, boys. The iPad got the A5 chip first before anything. And we wouldn't see this again until actually this year in 2020 with the introduction of the iPad Air, which had the A14 chip before the iPhone. Now, not necessarily didn't ship before the iPhone, but it was still announced with the iPhone. This thing shipped before the iPhone. The A5 was in development way before them because the A5 series was strictly built for these iPads with more thermals, because this thing wasn't fully edged out yet until the other things. But this motherboard design is actually quite amazing. It's not double layered, it's single layered motherboard, so that's why it takes up more space, but all the iPhones are single layered motherboard until the iPhone 4S, which I'm going to be taking apart shortly. But this iPad was just absolutely amazing in what it did, and I love that silver outline in the back there. This is going to make for a cool artwork display. But anyway, that's basically the overview design of the iPad Air 2. Over all of these lines here, that's where all the glue stays for the display. So in the time-lapse video, when I'm edging all of that out, it's actually really difficult. So yeah.